Alright guys, today we're going to pull the rear swing arm off, which will include the rear wheel on a 2022 icebear Champion. You will need, we're going to start on the brake side. You're going to need a 14 millimeter that will pull your shock bolt, the rear adjuster, the brake, and you'll need to pull the cotter pin out. That'll release that. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my rear passenger pegs because I'm a big boy. I don't put two people on the back of this thing. You're gonna need to pull this off to get the swing arm bolt. You might be able to adjust it once you take this off. You will need a screwdriver of some sort to pull the rear axle. And then we're gonna come over here to the shifter side. Once again, I'm going to pull this rear peg, 8 millimeter to pull the chain guard, 14 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 17 millimeter, and always do these first. Once you've loosened your 17 and your screwdriver over here, I'm not putting the chain guard back on. I'm not putting the passenger pegs back on either. Be back in a minute. Okay. So I pulled the rear passenger peg off because that's not going to go back on. I don't run rear pegs. Take our 14, pull the cotter pin out. This is what holds the brake in place, but it's attached to your swing arm. So 14, and it should just be hand tight. Washer and then the bolt. Shove it through. And until we get everything else adjusted, we'll set that to the side. We will throw our 14 on here. Move that out of the way so you can see a little better. You should just be able to zip that adjuster off with a 14. And then gently push down on your brake pedal. Slide this barrel out, goes right here, and just for storage purposes I'm going to slide the barrel back on, push it, and then put my adjuster in, and I'll bring you over here so you can see it. Okay, so we slid this barrel out of here. This was screwed into the backside, and it is set up to sit flush on there. I'm just going to put it like this for storage. Tuck it up here on top of the wheel. And let's see. No, we are not going to be able to do it without pulling this off. So we'll pull that off here in just a second as well. Sit your back over here. Make sure you can see somewhat. Okay, that'll be a 10. We don't need that yet. So now we got to come in with a pair of pliers. And remove this cotter pin. It's a good idea to make a run to Harbor Freight and just buy a set of cotter pins. You can get them fairly cheap. For a pack of, I'd have to look and see how many are actually in there, but it's worth the purchase instead of trying to reuse all these cotter pins. And that is going to be a little bit of a pain because I RTC'd it because everybody talked about it shaking and vibrating and annoying everybody. There it is. So, make sure you can see that on film. I put a bunch of RTC on it. It actually has a little bit of a cap, and just to keep any vibrations down. See if I can sit you over here. It's hard to get straight on this side. I hate messing with these damn springs. These darn springs. But, let's see, no. There's nothing to it but to take the damn thing off. Woo. So get a good look at it. The spring for your brake switch comes down, and it's hard to see right there. It hooks onto the bottom of this spring. This is your brake return spring. So it hooks on here, and it hooks onto this notch up here, and there's actually a notch built in. Give me just a second. I gotta grab better needle nose. Alright, we're back. I got better needle nose. And just a cheap, it doesn't even say Pittsburgh on there, Harbor Freight pick, the circle. I'm gonna come in from this side and hook it around there. Nope, not gonna be able to do it that way. So we're going to take it off the top. We're actually going to pry right here, but we're going to be gentle because it is a spring and it is spring loaded. So, nice and softly, keep a good grip on it. Okay, that one's off. You should be able to, oh, my hand's all the way in the way there. Should be able to come in here and just force it out. Maybe not. Let's see. There's a lot less resistance on it. Oh yeah, there you go. And these are a pain to put back together. My arm's just going to be in your way for a second. Okay. So I'm actually just going to leave that hanging there. Make sure that's out of the way back here. And then the problem with the RTC method is it gets good and on there. It'll be okay though. You can re-RTC it later. Just keep wiggling and pulling. Okay. Now that whole brake assembly is off. Sit it to the side. And I'm just going to leave my springs hanging here. Right, just like that. So this is the bolt we need to get to for the swing arm. But we're not there yet. I am going to set that cat back on there. And we'll put this back in here once this is freed up. So we'll grab our 10, our 14, stick our screwdriver back through the wheel well, and then we're going to come back over to this side. There's not really going to be a good spot to sit you up. So grab a 17. Make sure I'm correct. Yes, 17. Throw that on the Milwaukee. I don't think... Sorry for shaking you guys here. Okay. 17. We're going to see if I can do it one-handed. Yep. Okay. Almost all the way off. And all this can be done with hand tools. I'm just trying to be fast for the video. Okay, come in here. Loose enough. Come over here. Loose enough. Wiggle that axle so I can get my screwdriver out. Okay. So that's still spinning. That's fine. I'm going to pull that off because I don't want it. Where'd that hunk of sucker go? There it is. Okay. toss that to the side. An 8. I don't think you have to pull the side cover. We'll find out in just a second when I get this all out of the way. Is that an 8? That's a 9. It's in the wrong spot. I knew I was right. It's an 8. Okay. And since that's not going back on for mine, I don't care about that screw. We'll keep it there though. Throw this 14 back on. What was that? There goes the acorn nut. We're just going to slide that up and out of the way. And remember, there's a washer on the back side, a washer on the front side. And then your acorn nut. Washer front, washer back, acorn nut. Oh. Does this whole thing have to come off? It sure does. Okay. Chain guard off. Toss to the side. Washer in the front, washer in the back. Acorn nut. And we can get to it to loosen that swing arm. I'm also going to pull the chain. So we're going to take our 14, come over here, buzz that loose, take it off, washer in the front, washer in the back. Just sit it all back together there for now. So that's loose. Hey, look at that, that's loose. Pop a squat real quick. See if we can get you set up in a timely manner. Okay. So we're going to put the bolt back through that for storage. Throw our washer on. And then our nut. And if you're reusing cotter pins, go ahead and just sit the cotter pin in the brake assembly. I probably will not use these cotter pins again. So now all this is loose, that axle's loose. I'm gonna slide over here. Can you see me? Hold the axle. No. Stick something to hold the axle in place. No, not gonna work. Y'all just hit the ground. Okay. Loosen your nut up all the way. It's a 17. Pull out your axle slider or your chain adjuster for the shifter side. Start to pull it out, and it'll drop this chain adjuster. Slide the axle out completely. Put your chain adjuster back on for a second. Or not. I'm having troubles there. Okay, so I'm going to spin you around. So you see on the brake side there's a thin one. And you can't quite see because of the chain. I should have pulled the chain first. But there's a spacer there. Give me 2 seconds. Pull them and you can... Okay. So this one with the grease on it goes on your chain side, your shifter side. This clean one goes on your brake side or your non-chain side, and put them side by side here, and you can see that the chain side is just a little bigger. Personally, I like to put this all back on here. And I know that my nut goes to the chain side. So I will loosen my nut, pull my chain adjuster off, put the short one on that side in the orientation it goes, then put the chain one, then slide that back on, then we'll throw the nut on, and we can sit that to the side by the brake. Alright, so we're doing all this because I am going to go to a buddy's shop. And I'm going to go ahead and replace the swing arm bushings that everybody complains about and cries about. I actually just tightened it down real good. Mini Bike Mike put 2 washers in there, and that works great. I'm thinking about doing that as well. But I got the 2 Delrin spacers that I'm going to put in. And with as much as I ride these little bikes and my buddies ride them, and I'm a bigger guy, I'm going to go ahead and replace this chain because it's constantly stretching and I constantly have to readjust. So Amazon had a deal on it for the flash sale, so we're going to go ahead and replace the chain as well. Right here, make sure you guys are in frame. I'll try to work through the camera, how about that? See me. Okay, so this is a master link. It's a lot harder to work through a camera than I thought. So, just want to get the pliers on the chain. And squeeze. Try a smaller set of pliers here. So all I'm doing is putting the lip of this right here on this, and then on the back side of the pin, just like so. And then you come in with your pointed needle nose. Don't even need them. Slide it up, pop it off. Yahtzee! That's why I should probably take the chain off first. Okay, for those that want to see, let's back that back out. There's the inside of the brake drum. Not too bad. Anybody who's ever pulled apart a Coleman mini bike, I haven't verified this because I don't have any anymore, but that's all your brakes are. 2 springs, 2 shoes, and a cam brake. Set that to the side. So that's everything we've pulled off. Rear axle, the brake with the adjuster and the rear shoes, and the wheel. I am thinking about painting these, but we'll see how I feel. Just for anybody who's never messed with a chain before, it's not that complicated. Don't let it get kinked. If you're worried about getting dirty, get some gloves. Tilt that down just a little more. Okay. So once it's on the bike, you're going to have to do little link. Let's see if I can get this up here so you can differentiate. Little link to little link. So they're both little. They're both the same size. Little link to little link. Then you get them matched up, which is normally easiest for me to do it on the top half of the back sprocket. You get it squeezed together. You push the pin through. Push the pin through. Put your master on there, and I always grab a pair of pliers and just give it a good squeeze. Make sure it's holding. And then you take your lock, and this part always gets me. You want this end facing the way it rotates. So it's going to go through like this. So we're going to put it on this way if we're on the back part of the sprocket. I can do a much better job of showing you guys here. Okay. Just like so. And you grab your pair of pliers. And you grab right there. And squeeze it together. locked in place. And then when you're taking it back apart, get your pliers, put it on the pin, and then try to tilt it down. Wiggle it forward. Slide that off. Slide your top piece off. And save that. Put it in your on-bike emergency kit just in case with a small pair of pliers. Because you never know when you might break it or somebody else. Okay. Give me just a second and I'm going to set up to get the swing arm off. Okay. So you take your 14 and you just buzz this guy off. And you got a washer on the outside. And you come in here. Back you guys back out. You got the bolt and the washer itself. Now it's when it gets a little tricky. Okay. So the swing arm is completely free. Come in here, apply some pressure and wiggle. So move that cotter pin. We'll just yank it out of the way for now. Okay, so washer, bolt, wiggle. Don't be too forceful. Your swing arm is out. Personally, because I probably won't put this back together tonight, put that back in there. Take a washer, slide it on in your 14 and just hand tighten it on there. And these are the rubbers that mini bike Mike was talking about and a couple other guys. Sticking washers on the inside. Oh, I hope this helps somebody. Take a video putting it back together.